Do you know that there are people and businesses making more than $1 million a year? And yet, the business owner is still broke, not due to lack of income, but because of these habits. You see, being broke is not an absence of money, it's the presence of habits that act like success sucking vacuums. And today I'm exposing 5 of them, plus one reveal at the end that can help you change all 5 habits. So please watch till the end. Okay, let's go. Habit number 1, no concrete plan. Do you realize most people don't fail because they lack talent? They fail because they move off of emotion and not direction. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You get a great idea, you feel passionate about it, excitement builds, and then you drink that just move Kool-Aid. That works only if you're trying to lose weight. But in business principles don't respect passion alone. They respect clarity, structure, and strategy. I was once talking to a group of students recently about accounting, business, and career. And I asked them, how many wanted to be millionaires? Almost all hands went up. Then I asked how many had some kind of plan. 2 hands were raised and the rest stared at me like I was a strange object. I immediately saw the student version of myself in these students. The problem with this narrative is many will end up in their 30s and 40s wondering where their life went. So parents, please start having conversations with your kids today to help them learn how to plan. Because if poverty came, what you see is that there's no money. But what really happened was the lack of a plan, and that created a hole in their pocket. Before we go any further, if you're interested in a planning video, drop the word plan in the comments section, and I will share strategies I've used on clients with respect to budget planning that really work well. Now let's move on to habit number 2, not having adequate resources to support the plan. A lot of people fail, and that's not because the idea was bad. They struggle, not because the idea was bad, but because the funding strategy was off. The plan is too big for your pockets, let's face it. You want to win fast, so you act in desperation. Instead of building slowly, you start to borrow money you can't afford to pay, right? And you're chasing get-rich-quick schemes today that destroy your reputation and business tomorrow. Do you know Johnny? Johnny refused to get a job because he believed working for someone else was beneath him. Pride convinced him that the only path to success was entrepreneurship immediately. So he borrowed money with no repayment plan and was always in on the how to make money now schemes as soon as they popped up. Right? Years later, creditors, loss of friendships, a business that never launched, and police search warrants. And when poverty came, what you see is that there was no money. But what really happened was the capital gamble that created a hole in his pocket. Habit number 3, not sticking to the plan because of fear. Having a plan is good, right? But not sticking to a plan is a huge issue. You created a budget to save money and invest in this great business idea. Yes? Good. You were disciplined, focused, act first, and then a life event hit. Right? Key employee left, you lost a large contract, you got married, revenues didn't flow as expected, you developed unrealistic expectations. Sometimes your business wallet suffers even because of good decisions. There was a couple who had their finances in order, planned on saving money to start this new business together, and plans were going well until a baby came. One baby changed everything: sleep, schedule, expenses, time, energy. Their cash position changed. And because of fear of not being able to support the business, they abandoned it. Life continued in arguments over money. Money needs that neither of their careers combined could support. And when poverty came, what you see is that there was no money, but what really happened was the fear that pushed them to deviate from the plan, and that created a hole in their pocket. Right? Number 4, consuming most of what you produce. Now, this one touches even you and me. Consider 2 people. One works hard to buy seed. When they get that seed, they purchase the most expensive oil and spices to make seed cakes and eat with their family. Right? Another, on the other hand, works hard. He buys the seed and plants it, waters it until it becomes a tree that produces fruit all year round. Which of them do you think survives a season of famine? Which of them do you think is engaged in fruitful business? Do you know someone who got a big payout and suddenly the house got bigger, car got bigger, right? Clothes, vacations, jewelry, everything expanded. They consumed that seed like cake. and it caused their pride to expand like dough, right? You start living by the mantra, life is short, enjoy it. But what happens when you outlive that spending spree? We all know someone in entertainment, in business, in our community, even in your family, who had a season of big money. The entourages were full, parties every weekend. It was big things all day, every day, right? And the moment the money dried up, everyone vanished except debt. And when poverty came, what you see is that there was no money. But what really happened was that consumer mentality that created a hole in their pocket. And for habit number 5, this one is precious to me. Those who are praying for miracles without action. Some people believe God will deliver them from poverty while refusing to learn, grow, and build value. They pray for money but don't invest in skills. They pray for opportunities but they do not prepare to deliver excellence. That's praying for a miracle instead of preparing for one. There's a story in scripture about a soldier, I love this story, who served the prophet. Now, the soldier died leaving his family in debt, and by law, the creditors came to enslave his sons. That was permissible, right, in those days. His surviving wife ran to the prophet for help. Now, here's the good part of the story. The prophet didn't tell her to go look under her bed for a miraculous bag of money. He gave her a business plan. Go gather containers from your neighbors. Use the oil in your house. Fill the containers. Work with your sons. Sell that oil. Pay debt and live on the rest. See, God supplied the wisdom, but she had to take action. And many have ignored the principle of action with wisdom. And when poverty came, what you see is that there is no money. But what really happened was a belief system that created a hole in their pocket. Now leaning. Because this is the part you should be waiting for, the one ingredient that can help correct all 5 habits. And that ingredient is purpose. When you discover your purpose, personally and in business, everything changes. Everything changes. First, purpose makes planning easy. When you know where you're going, creating a plan is natural. A GPS, my friends, is only going to work when you set the destination, right? Purpose attracts resources. When you can clearly see what you're trying to build, you will be disciplined to allocate resources for it. When you can clearly communicate what you're trying to build, resources come to you. Investors fund clarity. Purpose stabilizes you in storms. When the mission is strong, storms don't scare you. You embrace the pressure as part of the pruning process. Purpose stops lifestyle inflation. Instead of consuming everything, you start to invest in systems that accelerate progress towards your identified goal. And purpose turns prayer into aligned action. You stop asking for magical provision and start preparing for miraculous opportunities, diligently putting in the work. If you know it's time to walk in purpose, comment purpose right now in the comment section. The future is bright, but someone needs to turn the lights on. And that's where you and I come in. If you believe this is a message many in this generation can benefit from, hit like so YouTube can push it out to more people. Subscribe so you can also get the next video, and share with those that need to hear it. Note this: money follows habits, habits follow purpose, and purpose turns prayer into aligned action. Remember, abundance is not a measure of quantity. Abundance is a measure of quality. I'll see you at the next one.